Apparently, Nick Fuentes said if he were president on day one, he would send the National Guard everywhere in the major cities and take women's right to vote away. Dude is psychotic. If you don't know him, he's the Nazi wing of the Republican Party. Very influential, very powerful, very big, has had dinner with Trump, not a nobody. I want to listen to the clip. Check this out. I don't know who this dude is, who he did this interview with, but he needs to change his hair. It looks like a wig.
So I guess the year is 2036. Nick Fuentes is elected president of the United States. What does day one look like in Nick Fuentes America?
Oh, day one is going to be ugly. No, but look, I mean, day one.
Also, I should have clarified. Would you run for president?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I could ever win.
No.
Because I'm too offensive.
Yes, absolutely. He is too offensive. But either way, the fact that he didn't say no disturbs the hell out of me.
I'm too provocative. But assuming I did, and if I won, I would immediately, here's the role of the president. The president is the chief law enforcement officer of the country. That's really the goal. The executive is to execute the laws that are passed by Congress. And what is happening right now is, of course, the nation's in open rebellion. We have a criminal illegal alien population of maybe 40 million people. We don't even know.
No, bullshit. Are you serious with this right now? No. We have a total population of immigrants, like all immigrants, legal, illegal, documented, undocumented. We have a total population of, I think, 80 million at most. I think it's lower than that. And we have an undocumented population of about 20 million, I think. But what downside is there to immigration? Why is that bad? There is no downside to immigration. None. Zero downside unless you're a white supremacist, unless you believe in racial superiority. That's it. Literally, I'm telling you, there is no downside. There's only upside. Immigrants grow our GDP. It helps our economy to have immigrants. So to hear Nick Fuentes or anybody else say that immigrants are like outnumbering U.S. citizens or they're dangerous or whatever other nonsense, it's just white supremacy, and that's it at its core.
No, I mean, it could be 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 million illegal aliens here.
No, it's about 20 million at most, I think is the consensus. And who cares? So what? Why do we care about this at all?
And they all have to be returned. At the minimum, many of them, tens of millions of them have to be returned because they have no legal standing here.
Okay, you haven't given me a reason. You've just said they don't have legal standing here. Fine. Okay, give them legal standing.
Well, what happens when you try to do this? You see what's happening in Broadview here in Illinois. You get riots, you get protests, you get the mayor and the governor resisting.
And why do you think that is? Really? Because Trump is sending ICE in with full immunity. He's told him he's going to pardon anybody who does anything wrong as an ICE official. And they are brutalizing people. Obviously, nobody wants them around. Are you serious? Did you notice that ICE didn't start wearing masks and bandanas and covering their faces? They didn't start doing that later. They were doing it right out the gate because they knew they were going to be breaking laws and violating people's rights, and there were going to be repercussions. They knew that was going to happen. So they started with that from the get-go.
You got to go in and arrest those people too.
The governors. Arrest governors. He's describing setting up an authoritarian dictatorship. And for the record, if you guys remember, he, in his interview with Tucker Carlson, said he loves Stalin. Said he's a big fan of Stalin, famously.
It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday. I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer.
I was actually surprised by that. I didn't know he liked Stalin, but it makes sense as an authoritarian.
But we don't need to go into that. The other thing I'm really worried about is what's happening at these ICE detention centers. And I see all the ingredients of like a low-boil civil conflict, full-blown civil war.
Anyway, the point is that Fuentes is an authoritarian, and he loves authoritarianism like this.
What else is happening in Chicago and New York and L.A.? Rampant crime, chaos, murder. There was a story last night. Somebody drove a stolen car through the window of a luxury store and did a grand theft in the store and got away.
Like, who are you talking about? First of all, they might have gotten away, like, in the moment. but that's why we have police and FBI and stuff. Like, crime happens. Are you surprised? First time hearing about this? Yes, crime is real. It happens everywhere. That's just part of the deal of living in a society. But second, that's why you find ways to deal with crime. You fight against crime, of course, obviously. Instead, he seems to think that all 20 million undocumented immigrants, nay, all 80 million immigrants, are criminals, all of them. And they are all contributing to this. It's disgusting.
And this happens all the time in Chicago. So if I were president on day one, I'm bringing the National Guard everywhere. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of National Guard in all the major cities. And we are putting that shit on lock. It is going to be martial law. We are getting in the public transit. We are going to be in the city square. We're going to be in the worst neighborhoods. We are going to be, if this is the case, it would be visible. It would be broken window policing. You know, every crime is going to be punished. Littering.
Okay, that's not what broken window policing is, for the record, but okay. Just a reminder, I would really appreciate it if you guys checked out my Patreon. If you're not going to donate, you don't have to, but follow me there at the very least. owenmorgan.com/Patreon. Just in case something happens with the government or whatever. It would be really good if you had some way to connect with me and my content. I'm really concerned about that. And maybe you should consider that for other creators too. When I was in psychology class, they were talking about broken window policing. And here's how they discussed it. We're going to read the actual synopsis of what it is in a second. But they said, when there are broken windows in a neighborhood, more crime happens. Because people don't feel comfortable in their neighborhood. They feel like it's run down and they don't want to kind of live in that environment. They don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for here? They don't have respect for the community when it doesn't feel respectable. So they'll, do more, they'll do graffiti, they'll mess things up. But here's what broken windows policing actually is. Broken windows policing is a law enforcement strategy based on a 1982 criminology theory by James Q. Wilson and George Kelling. The core idea is that visible signs of disorder and minor crimes like broken windows, graffiti, vandalism, public drinking, turnstile jumping, create an environment that encourages more serious crime. The theory suggests that aggressively enforcing laws against minor offenses prevents neighborhoods from deteriorating and deters major crimes. New York City famously implemented this under Mayor Giuliani and Police Commissioner Bratton in the 90s. There are some criticisms, though. Empirical evidence is disputed. Studies have shown mixed results on whether it actually reduces serious crime, with some research suggesting other factors like economic trends were more significant. Discriminatory enforcement, critics argue it led to disproportionate targeting of poor and minority communities through stop and frisk and quality of life arrests. Community harm can erode trust between police and communities, particularly when minor violations result in arrests, criminal records, and incarceration. Causation is unclear. The broken window might be a symptom rather than a cause of deeper issues. And yeah, that's the answer at the end of the day. It's a symptom of deeper issues. Do you know that poverty, I think, is the number one indicator of crime? If you are impoverished, you are probably going to commit crimes. So how do you fix that? Jobs programs, setting minimum wage higher. The government can be the employer of last resort. If people can't get a job, put them to work fixing the roads and the bridges and the infrastructure and stuff, training programs, whatever. People get out there in the street in the morning and start filling potholes for the city, and they make good money, $30 an hour, and suddenly the poverty problem doesn't exist anymore. What's Trump doing instead? He's deporting innocent people and sending them to prisons, horrifying prisons, instead of doing a jobs program. He added $3.7 trillion to the debt. $3.7 trillion. For what? Jobs program to rise people out of poverty and fix crime? No. Tax breaks for the rich. What? Why the fuck do they need more money? Really? Vandalism, graffiti, everything is going to be punished, and many people are going to be deported. And the message would be,
we have laws here. We don't fuck around. This is the United States. You have to follow the law. And we're no longer going to pander to criminals.
Again, no one is pandering to criminals. And if you want to make things better, all you have to do is rise people out of poverty. Be the employer of last resort.
For criminal, you're going to jail. We're not going to have a society where peaceful, law-abiding people are held hostage by opportunists and predators and violent people. It's going to be the reverse. The violent people are going to be afraid to go in the streets. The violent people are going to see a law enforcement presence, and they're not going to want to go outside or drive down certain streets, rather than the reverse, where law-abiding people are afraid to go into certain neighborhoods.
I'm not afraid to go into any neighborhood in Manhattan. I've been to all of them. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, these cities are not anywhere near as dangerous as they want to make it out.
I think that's the first thing any president has to do.
What rights would you take away from women?
Well, I would just take away the right to vote for tons of people. Women, for sure.
Do you see the smirk on this dude?
But also, I'd raise the voting age to like 25 in general. I would probably take away the right to vote for, maybe people that have no stake, no skin in the game. Because here's the thing, even the men, I look at a lot of men who are students and, they're 21 years old and their parents are paying for their apartment and they've never had a real job. And they're out there telling everybody, this is the way the world has to be. Well, how do you know? If you don't own property and you don't know like how the trains run, because let's say you eat.
Bro, you have to own property to know how trains run? What are you talking about? You have to own property to understand how property ownership works? He's saying he wants to go back to a time where women couldn't vote and only property owning males were allowed to vote. And I can only imagine he feels the same about black people voting, right? Considering the fact that he is openly racist, like he says, I am a racist, it is racial for me.
I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. I want white kids and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry. It's racial for me. And call me racist. Oh, very Christian of you. I don't give a fuck.
See, that's the problem. It's not about being a good person or a Christian or whatever. It's not rising above your blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's that you're incorrect, that there is no difference between black people and white people. The only difference is skin color. And if we stopped treating people like Nick Fuentes treats people, we wouldn't have these types of problems anymore. We wouldn't have these types of hateful situations, hateful environments, hateful issues like this. Disgusting. He is a disgusting human being, dude, really. Point is, this dude disturbs the hell out of me with some of his ideas. And he is definitely gaining traction in the United States, for sure.
And own your own home. You need to know a little bit about how the world works. You need to know about weather. You need to know about moisture. You need to know about, basic things for how we have a human habitation. You know what I'm saying? Property development.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're saying. You saying that you want people to be educated before they vote? That's something I would consider, that people have at least like a 12th grade education or something, right, before they can vote. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying he wants people to own property because that limits it the most effectively to white men.
Developers uniquely understand these things, taxes and insurance and code and how money is made. Like, they understand what makes the world go round. An 18-year-old that is renting an apartment and never had a real job and is basically their parents are paying for everything. They don't have a car. They really have no way of knowing how the world works.
So you want to, here's the thing. He wants to keep things miserable. He wants to keep people impoverished and suffering. The things that he's describing right now, the problems, the inexperience or whatever, that's not going to be alleviated under his system. People just aren't going to be able to buy homes or whatever. This dude is so disturbing.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
Also have no skin in the game. Whoever wins the election, it doesn't really matter that much actually for them. So I would say that we have to really seriously consider reworking who is eligible to vote based on, who we would entrust that decision with, who we'd feel comfortable entrusting the decision of who should run our country.
That's not a democracy. Removing people's right to vote selectively is not a democracy. He's advocating for full authoritarian control.
With. And, what comes to mind is people with children, people that own property, people that are of a certain age, people that have had military service, people that speak English. How about that? I mean, there would be some requirements that'd be introduced.
Who would you appoint to your cabinet?
Oh, it wouldn't be anybody in politics. I think we need like a throw all the bastards out mentality. I think they're all corrupt. So I would probably solicit people from the country to run the government.
That's interesting. I don't believe that Nick Fuentes is corrupt. I don't believe that he operates in a corrupt way. I do, however, think that he's a monster. He is a racial theorist, a white supremacist, and a Nazi, a neo-Nazi. He debated Alex Jones on whether Hitler was a good guy. Seriously.
What's the first thing you would ask the guys in suits about?
Oh, aliens. Aliens, I would ask them about,
That's an interesting question, and I've had the same thought. I would definitely ask about aliens, I think. Although I don't believe that aliens are around, honestly. I just don't.
I would ask them about JFK.
Oh, come on, dude. Get over it. JFK was not murdered by Israel or whatever, as Nick Fuentes believes.
But I think we basically know what happened there.
He thinks Israel did it. There's no reason to think that other than he hates Jews.
Ask them about all the spy stuff that goes on between us and the other countries. But to tell you the truth, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. Like, I actually don't believe there is some like really shocking hidden truth. Some people are waiting to discover that like we encountered aliens years ago. I don't think that's true. I think that what we see is what we get, basically. And it doesn't go much further beyond, what's in your imagination about what billionaires do,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking of some things that you've said. You've kind of pointed to the fact that the nation of Israel, Jewish people, etc., it's kind of like a cabal, and it's like very negative, and it's like about rebuilding the temple. Like there's a lot of stuff here. It's just like, do you not classify that as conspiratorial because there's just evidence for it?
Yeah, basically.
My God, really? Are you kidding me? All the shit that he believes, he says is not conspiratorial because there's evidence for it. Brother, I hate to tell you this, but JFK being killed by Jews is a conspiracy theory. There's no reason to believe it whatsoever. None. I hate to tell you this, but your beliefs about, I don't know, what other things does he believe? God, it's hard to know what conspiracy theories he's got knocking around in there, but he's got a ton of conspiracies on tap.
I mean,
that sounds like a conspiracy to my Thanksgiving dinner,
Anyway, the point is Nick Fuentes is a monster and disgusting, and we have to fight against this with everything in us, really. Holy Christ. Tell me your thoughts.